That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks. 2A over the bye week was a perfect chance for me to ask Notre Dame fans on Twitter a very specific question about our big picture future. And I thought we'd get some wildly varying answers. And indeed we did. We need to talk about this. It's a big part of wherever this thing's head next. Edition of the Always Irish show on the bye. Well, I guess we're coming out of the bye now, but we had the bye. I got re-energized. I feel great. It was so relaxing Saturday to watch all the football and just hate watch everybody with no Notre Dame stress, no worries we weren't going to have an offense, nothing. It was beautiful. I love the bye. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny out as well. Notifications ended when you alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter. Search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishND@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. The Cowlin lines. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you might have heard and seen. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc. USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. The Kennedy and Goolsby Show. Subscribe. We appreciate everybody who has already, and we have a lot of stuff coming up there. Stuff you ain't going to get anywhere else. All right. I'm sitting there Saturday afternoon, minding my own business. Well, not really. I'm always trolling on Twitter or something. Mostly minding my own damn business. And I got to thinking about Notre Dame and where we're at right now and where we want to be and where we want to get. Wait a second. What the hell am I doing? Unbelievable. I can't believe it. You know, I must be out of my routine on the bye. How am I going to forget to start a show and not even have the chain? Unacceptable mistake by your host. Unbelievable. But I got it on now. We're good to go. We're good to go. All right. So I'm sitting there scrolling Twitter and I'm thinking about all this. And for some reason, I think they were talking about quarterbacks on one of the games, breaking up quarterbacks, comparing them, whatever. And it made me think, who in the hell is going to be Notre Dame's starting quarterback next year? It's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. And if you weave that into the bigger picture issue of, is Parker going to be the one calling this offense next year as well? Like, there's some huge questions there. Number one, I realize season's not over and Parker can end it on an upswing and the offense looks way better or whatever. That's possible. But on the flip side, if it looks how it looked entering the bye the rest of the year, what do you do at offensive coordinator? And then, oh, by the way, who's your quarterback? Kind of a big deal. All right. So here's what I did. Let's bring this up. During the games yesterday, I simply wrote, who do you think will be ND's starting quarterback next year? Look at that troll job I did on Harbaugh. Anybody not on Twitter but that follows me on YouTube, you're getting a taste of what I do all day. Look at me trolling Harbaugh with the military goggles or whatever those are and the ghillie suit. Oh my God, that's funny. So I wrote, who do you think will be ND's starting quarterback? 13% Angeli. Minchie, 35. Carr, 22. Portal dude to be named later, 30. Okay, let's do that again. Angeli, 13. Minchie, 35. Carr, 22. Portal dude, 30. So I suspected that when I put this out, there was going to be a wide range of variant there for different reasons. I find this very, very interesting. Here's number one. The guy that the least amount of people think is going to be the starter next year is the guy that's going to have the most experience, obviously, unless you get a portal guy. But in the building, Angeli's going to have the most experience. And I feel like coaches always value that more than fans do. So we got to note that. Also, I'm just throwing this out there. A lot of Notre Dame media outlets have a lot of good things to say about Steve Angeli and his development and where he is, and they actually think he can hang. I'm not saying elite talent ceiling off the charts through the roof. I'm just telling you guys, don't count Angeli out in this. And I can see you guys rolling your eyes. You want a more raw talent with a higher possibility on the high end. If you're rolling your eyes, I'm just telling you, he's got the most experience. Somebody's going to have to beat out the guy that the fans think is least likely to start. And I got 1,600 votes. This ain't no like 20 people voted, so it's all skewed. I got just under 1,587 votes, just under 1,600 damn votes here. That's a good sampling. I'm just telling you, the guy the least amount of people think is going to have the most experience. I think the staff thinks a lot of them, and a lot of the media are saying they think he can hang. You may not buy into any of that. I'm just setting the stage of where this is coming from. I'm just setting the stage of where this is coming from. Now, if you were a guy that says, John, I respect Steve Angeli, but bro, I need a higher upside. I need something on the higher end that's possible that makes us say, wow. That's where you're getting into Kenny Minchie's arm at 35%. Coming off the red shirt. Then you got Carr, 22.3. The percentage is changing, so people are still voting. Carr, 22%. True freshman. You know, he's going to enroll early, I believe, but he's still no experience at college. And then I got Portal Dude at 30%. Now, some of the comments under this were, who's the Portal Dude? Oh, I don't know who the Portal Dude is. Portal Dude to be named later. Notre Dame's going to have to look into that and see who's available, and who's interested, or what's a good fit, or whatever. And I still need to know who the OC is going to be. Because if things continue the way they've looked, it can't be Parker. So you're in a situation where you're going to have a lot of shit to figure out. But here's the dynamic. Minchie is high talent ceiling, big R, 35% of people want coming off that red shirt. Is he going to be far enough along and provide you enough high-end upside to trump whatever stability Angeli provides, because he's actually been in these games more and has more of experience and been around longer and knows what's going on more? I don't know how that's going to break down. Carr is coming right out of high school, even if he early enrolls. Is that going to be a path Notre Dame wants to go down with the true freshman? Because if you do and you don't navigate it right, you could ruin a guy. You can literally ruin a guy if you don't weigh this all right and rush into something with the guy that isn't ready and he's overwhelmed and then he gets in his own head. Like, you could screw a guy up doing that. And then the Portal Dude, 30% is, one, it depends who's available and who's interested in Notre Dame. Obviously, that's number one with that. Here's the other part of that, though. The other part of that is, I have no doubt, to me, the longer term path to stability for Notre Dame would be to find a good young quarterback that you know has huge upside, roll with him young, let him develop with all the other guys, and in about two to 3 years, you got a monster where that talent catches up, the brain catches up, the processing catches up to the arm, whatever it is. and all these guys grow, and young wide receivers build a rhythm with their quarterback, over time. Did you guys ever grow up playing on teams with your friends every summer, or in baseball or football, whatever it is? If you have the same group together for years, it does help. It helps. I knew what when I'm playing second base, I grew up with my shortstop all through grade school, high school. I knew exactly what Tom was going to do. I knew where Tommy was going to be, what plays he was going to make, how it was going to look, how to accept. I just knew from all those years how he was going to respond, and he knew how I responded. It made us a damn good middle infield for like 10 years because we just knew how the other one played so well. We knew what to expect. He knew my strengths and weaknesses. I knew his. We could compensate for that. I knew he didn't even have to say anything, but give me a look, and I knew what it meant. That's the kind of growth I'm talking about together. So I find it really ironic that the guy with the least amount of percentage here is going to have the most amount of experience, and already has some Notre Dame media saying, don't be surprised if that's your guy. And then the year after that, they do the Minchie Carr, and then you'll have Deuce behind them. So I'm telling you, I think Notre Dame fans aren't going to like it because it's not exciting on the high end. And Jelly's in play here, even though only 13% want him to be. I'm telling you, don't undercount this. And then Minchie is more of a risk because it's just a little more of an unknown and a younger guy that hasn't been around as much, but he's more athletic. Carr, if that's the guy you're going to treat like a Porsche, you got to make sure you got everything ready to go and you ain't missing a spark plug at the end. Like, you got to really make sure you navigate that kid the right way. Portal dude, who knows? But the biggest takeaway of this is going to be a critical time in the Marcus Freeman Notre Dame era. It's going to be a critical time. They got to get this quarterback dynamic lined up right. They got to get this quarterback dynamic lined up correctly. You got to have a great, clear, and accurate idea of what you want to do and have clean, accurate evaluations on all these options. Pluses and minuses on this guy. Pluses and minuses here. Pluses and minuses. Like, the evaluations here are so important and so critical. Notre Dame's got to be right about who they have and where those guys are at in their development so they can make the proper decision. If Notre Dame lines up these young quarterbacks right, they're going to be in a good spot for a long time. If they don't, it's going to be really bad. And it isn't going to be one bad thing. It's going to be a house of cards. Here's why. If you don't evaluate this right and you build this all out and go with the guy that isn't ready or it isn't the right pick, not only is that going to crash and burn on the surface, you're also going to have issues with those other quarterbacks behind that guy. If it's not going well and you picked wrong, are all those guys going to stay? Who's leaving? Who's leaving? Who's transferring? And then you may have the wrong option you picked and one less option to go to in that room after. This is critical. Gino Guidugli, Parker, whoever. They need to have a accurate, crystal clear scouting note on each of these guys. This has got to be lined up correctly for the Marcus Freeman era to be a success. And you don't want to just keep doing the one-year portal thing. You could catch lightning in a bottle, I suppose, if you have everything else great and you're one quarterback away and that's it. But the way Notre Dame football is, I do think hitching your wagon to a younger guy that could develop the long-term path to stability. You just got to figure out who it is and when that time is. So that's where I'm at with this. I would love to know what you guys think. I'm just telling you, this is a ultra critical dynamic, and Marcus has to make sure he picks right on how they navigate this. and the messaging to the other guys to make sure they feel valued and they stay around while you're developed, whatever. And I'm not trying to get ahead. This year's not done. That's not where this is coming from. This is a bye week thing that was in my mind on Saturday because we didn't have a game to worry about. So I start thinking about stuff. So let me know who you would have picked and what you think about this. Have a good one.